This is a public service announcement on behalf of the kneeling party. Stand by. I'm sure that everyone watching this, at some point has gone, you know what I fancy? A nice relaxing sit down, Everyone does that. Everyone likes a nice relaxing sit down, And I'm sure everyone watching this at some point is going, you know what I fancy? A nice relaxing lie down. Everyone likes a nice sit down or a nice lie down, Sit down, have a cup of tea, lie down and just go into your thoughts, But you know what no one has ever said? No one's ever said, oh, you know what I fancy? A nice relaxing kneel. I think I'll just go kneel somewhere for a few hours and have a nice relax while I'm doing it, It's never fucking happened because kneeling's smoking for the knees. I used to work with an old boy called Harry Parry, He had wiry grey hair on his head. It looked like a Brillo pod, And I've told stories about Harry Parry loads, because he's quite a character. And we used to all take the piss out of him for his hair and stuff, But remember one day I sat there kneeling down fitting a socket, and he come up to me, and he's in his 60s, he went, do you know why I can walk and stand up? Because I don't kneel down. Kneeling's a fucking mugs game. That's what he said to me. He says, if you carry on kneeling like that, when you're fucking in your 50s or 40s or 60s or whatever, you won't be able to fucking walk. Now, like all young people getting advice from a 60-year-old, I think I'm pretty much there for, oh, fuck off H. And then a few days later, I knelt on a 3.5mm screw and it fucking really hurt my knee, right? And I was in agony for a couple of days. And then I thought, he's probably right about that. I don't want to feel like I've just kneeled on a 3.5mm screw all my life because I've been kneeling on my knees and doing it. And he was quite right. He could walk and move around and bend conduit and stuff, even though he was at this time what I considered fucking ancient. So, I've always followed that advice. And after not kneeling, or when I kneel thinking I shouldn't be fucking doing this, is there a better way, like sitting, squatting, lying fucking down, and if it's dirty, lying on a bit of rug or a bit of old carpet or some cardboard or whatever. And I took that advice, for one of the pieces of advice I took when I was young. And now, my knees are all right, believe it or not, I haven't got bad knees. And I have had a bad knee from an injury I suffered when I was skiing. Go on. Oh. Yeah, I got a bad injury skiing and it affected one of my knees. It affected it for about 6 months, but it got better. And I was well happy about that. And I thought, fucking hell, if I'd not followed that advice of Harry and I had fucked my knees up, that might not have got better, or I might have felt like that for fucking years and years at the end of my life. So the sagest piece of advice I can pass on to people is kneeling is smoking for your knees. Don't do it. It might be young and comfortable and cool when you're young, but I assure you when you get older, walking around like a cripple is not good. You don't see many old carpet fitters, do you? Because they've all got fucked up knees. That concludes today's life advice, and I might resume normal electrical content at some point, but who knows. While we're talking about Harry Parry, who's a bit of a fucking legend, absolute legend, on the job. You had two names you could call Harry. We used to take the piss out of him, don't get me wrong, because he had wiry pubic hair on his head, right? We used to take the piss out of that. But that's just how it is on site, innit? But you either called him H for Harry, or people called him Harry the Bastard, Because if you did what he was told and got on with work, Harry was alright with you. But if you wanted to be a cunt about it, Harry could be a bastard. He's probably one of the first people, now I think about it, that had been there and done it and knew what he was on about, and didn't have no time for fucking around with kids who didn't listen and apprentices didn't listen, And he was quite a formidable character if you got on the wrong side of him, because if you got on the wrong side of him, you had a fucking long journey getting on the right side of him. And there was a guy in our firm. So Harry was always big on isolation, right? Make sure you got it fucking turned off because you'll kill yourself. He probably almost killed himself, that's why he was big on it, right? Locking off weren't as much as a thing then, but you would probably go and put a bit of tape over the breaker. It was different times, but likewise, no one would take the tape off. Or you might tape a light stuff and disconnect the fucking cores inside or put them in a connector block or whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to go into safe isolation, that's not what it's about, but Harry was insistent that you had isolated stuff he was working on and you checked it and you were safe. So it was a bit of forerunner for safe isolation, but without the locking off. But making sure it can't be re-energised was his bag. He probably had a nasty accident, and that's why he used to kick off about it. There was a lad that worked for us called Winders, He's called Winders because he had big, thick glasses. And Harry, I think, considered him to be a bit of a pleb at the time. I don't know what he's like now, I've not in touch with him yet. But Harry didn't really like him because Harry would tell him to do stuff in a certain way and he wouldn't do it. And that used to piss Harry off, and that was how he got on the wrong side of Harry, which you didn't want to do. It was not good for your fucking career. And he got him doing some lighting, and he goes, make sure it's turned off, blah, 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 make sure it's safe and all that, because we've got loads of lights changed, so it's worth investing a bit of time making sure it's all safe for you to do. And obviously other people might come and start helping you, and they would consider it to be safe. Anyhow, Winders would commonly not do this, right? He wouldn't do it, and Harry knew he wouldn't do it, and Harry was on him for it to make sure he would do it. So he come into this room, I think it was at Nottingham University, and he's up some lads, I think it was a computer room, a computer suite, remember those 4 laptops in the 90s? And he's like, have you got that fucking, have you made that safe, have you? Yeah, so he mugged Harry off, right? Proper, like, I fucking don't know what you're on about, you stupid old cunt, something like that. Fucking don't tell me what to do. It's, oh, I've done it, or whatever. Just basically mugged him off when he's trying to offer some advice, yeah? And anyway, he didn't say anything back to him, which I thought was fucking quite peculiar, because Harry could lose his rag at you, and when you knew he'd lost his rag, he'd lost his rag. He just fucking walked off, and I was like, oh, maybe he's had enough of him. Maybe he's fucking fed up and telling him something like that. I don't fucking know. Anyway, don't really know what's going off. Anyway, a few minutes later, Winders comes down the ladders, shuffles his steps along, gets another light out, goes upstairs, put the other light out, yeah? Lifts the ceiling tile out, puts the new light in the ceiling tile, starts disconnecting the old one. Then, a few seconds later, there was a flash, a bang and a crash as Winders fell off the ladders, which were like 12 treads, onto the fucking deck. Uyghur's run out to see if he's alright, thinking he fell steps, and what had happened is, somehow, don't know how to this day, obviously, the breaker had got switched on, and the light he went to fix was live, because it was on rock roses, so they weren't lining up, or something. The lights didn't come on, I know that. The lights didn't come on, but it was live. There must have been like an emergency. If the switch was off and the emergency was on, it's probably something like that, yeah. But he got a big black mark on his hand where he'd fucking got it, and he probably saved it because I think there was fucking wooden steps back in the day, and he'd come tumbling down the ladder the fastest he's ever done. And it was at that point I realised that you should never mug Harry off and take his advice. So yeah, little tale there. But yeah, it was an early perpetuator to the advices that I'm now glad I took, because he never did that to me, thank fuck, because he could have fucking killed him. It was fucking dangerous.